This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Tristan Hildebrand coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Monday, June 2nd. A Chinese Douyin live streamer is reported to police over non-consensual live streaming of elementary school students in Taipei. Taipei ranks 60th in British research institution Oxford Economics 2025 Global Cities Index, and the Central Bank of Taiwan asserts that the US dollar's status as the most important international reserve currency is safe. But first, today's top story. A Chinese Douyin live streamer was reported to police for questioning over non-consensual streaming of elementary school students in Taipei earlier this month. On Monday, the Investigation Bureau director confirmed in a legislative meeting that this and other similar cases are being investigated as possible national security threats. The case involves 52-year-old Chinese spouse surnamed Liu, who was allegedly broadcasting to introduce the neighborhood around an elementary school near the Minsheng community. Despite repeated requests to stop filming from parents and school volunteers, Liu continued filming the children's arrival to school until she was eventually reported to the police. This incident sparked concerns, especially because it appears to violate the Protection of Children and Youth's Welfare and Rights Act, which can carry fines of 60,000 NT dollars, around 2,000 US dollars, to 600,000 NT dollars, or 20,000 US dollars. DPP Secretary General Rosalia Wu brought up these cases in Monday's Legislative Judiciary Committee meeting. She mentioned that the Minsheng community case is just one of several in which live streamers have been reported for shooting children at school. Wu pointed out that these cases, which have all involved Chinese nationals, could be considered crimes of national security. While lauding the prosecutor's continued investigation for privacy violations, she called on the Investigation Bureau to also initiate an investigation into the string of incidents. Investigation Bureau Director Michael Chen responded by saying that the Bureau shares Wu's concerns and has already launched investigations. Chen said they are currently gathering more information on all related cases in attempts to verify whether these do truly qualify as national security threats and whether these cases are connected in any way. Wu also called on all relevant units to assist with the investigation to uncover the truth as soon as possible, especially to deter this unsettling trend. Taipei ranks 60th in British research institution Oxford Economics 2025 Global Cities Index, an evaluation that scores 1,000 cities based on 5 criteria: economy, human resources, quality of life, environment, and governance. Taipei scored an average of 75 out of 100, placing 60th, moving up 5 places from 65th place last year. The top 10 cities are New York, London, Paris, San Jose, Seattle, Melbourne, Sydney, Boston, Tokyo, and San Francisco. Only 7 Asian cities ranked in the top 100, namely Tokyo in 9th place, Seoul in 15th, Singapore in 21st, Taipei in 60th, Hong Kong in 72nd, Kuala Lumpur in 79th, and Osaka, Kyoto in 100th place. In terms of quality of life, human resources, and governance, Taipei ranked higher than the top New York. However, as the proportion of urban economic scale and human resources evaluation involving knowledge, skills, and production capacity is higher than other items, most of the world's top 100 cities are located in North America and Western Europe. According to the index, New York is the global center of finance, technology, advertising, and media, and the world's largest stable, growing urban economy, receiving full marks in the economic evaluation and continuing to top the list. The Central Bank of Taiwan issued a statement over the weekend emphasizing that the US dollar's status as the most important international reserve currency is safe. This is likely in response to the recent unprecedented growth of the new Taiwan dollar, caused partially by domestic businesses' mass sell-off of US dollar assets. National Cheng Chi University finance adjunct professor Yin Naiping said in a Monday interview that the statement was a message of confidence, hoping to stabilize the confidence of domestic investors. He points out that, unfortunately, the trend of de-dollarization of financial assets in the international market may mean this confidence call has a very limited effect. Yin said that the current downward trend of de-dollarization of financial assets in the international market is evident, especially after Trump's tariff policy repeatedly caused turmoil in the financial market. Een mentions rumors that Trump is also going to push for tax cuts, which raises concerns about the growing size of the U.S. public debt, a staggering $36 trillion. However, National Central University economics professor Chiu Junrong analyzed that the turmoil caused by Trump's new policy is a temporary phenomenon. He said that although the U.S. debt problem is serious, based on past examples of the United States dealing with debt, U.S. finances will not collapse. Cho said that many countries, including Taiwan, enjoy a trade surplus with the United States. Because the market has a certain expectation of Trump's approach to countries with trade deficits, he underscores that this will continue to create currency appreciation challenges. If the public's expectations do not change, the rise of the new Taiwan dollar may be difficult to suppress. The Interior Ministry is promoting the renaming of local roads which commemorate authoritarian figures as part of the government's National Action Program for Transitional Justice Education. The renaming, which would largely affect roads such as the many Zhongzheng roads named after Chiang Kai-shek's adopted name and Jingguo roads named after Chiang Jingguo, is being met with some criticism from opposition parties due to the cost and anticipated inconvenience. This Monday, Interior Minister Liu Shifeng said that changes will take place in accordance with the law and that scholars and experts have been commissioned to conduct relevant research. Should issues arise regarding renaming roads and removing statues, Liu said the central government will reach a consensus with local government entities and residents before moving forward. The subsidy for removing statues and renaming roads is capped at 100,000 NT dollars, about $3,300 per case, explains Liu, who added that more than 100 cases have already been subsidized. Liu emphasizes that transitional justice is a human rights issue and must be taken seriously. She maintains that the government can not only promote transitional justice when there is the budget to do so, as such an attitude is not in line with democracy and the rule of law. The National Action Program for Transitional Justice Education is to be implemented over a 4-year period from 2023 to 2026. The program prioritizes education, civil servant training, professional training, and communication with the general public to remove symbols of authoritarianism. Control Yuan Secretary General Li Junyi has resigned following his misuse of a government vehicle to drop off and pick up his dog. 3 other Control Yuan members were also accused of using government vehicles for private affairs. Following the acceptance of Li Junyi's resignation on Sunday, Control Yuan Vice President Li Hongjun held a press conference this Monday to apologize for the oversight and provide context to what had happened. Li Hongjun explained that while the former Secretary General submitted his resignation immediately after the situation came to light, the Vice President had asked him to stay and help improve the system first. He said a comprehensive review of the Control Yuan's vehicle use was necessary and that he suggested changing the criteria to match the cabinet's. Following the review, his resignation was accepted. The 3 Control Yuan members who have been accused of also using the vehicles for personal matters have been transferred to the Control Yuan's disciplinary committee for further review. In Yunlin County, Taiwan, the Zhenxi Temple performs a special ceremony every year, blessing the local town and people and taking the local deity for a swim.
A procession carries the richly decorated deity's palanquin over the sand dune. Then the temple staff begin a ceremony with a small wooden sedan chair, flipping it back and forth before rushing it headlong into the sea. The chair is dunked several times before being walked ashore, where the ceremony is repeated several more times. This special dragon boat custom is over 100 years old and performed exclusively at the Zhenxi Temple of Mailiao town in Yunlin County. The ritual began when the 1,000-year-old statue of the temple's main god traveled to Taiwan, originally from Fujian, and the worshippers couldn't return it to its ancestral home on pilgrimage. Thus, the Sanjin Shui, or 3-dip water, ceremony was born. According to temple consultant Lin Yunzong, the water of the sea represents the incense smoke brought back to protect the village and all those living in it. Like many places around Taiwan, Mailiao was heavily dependent on the sea in the past. By performing the ritual at sea, they could pray to the gods to protect the fishermen who traveled out into the ocean. Now, every Dragon Boat Festival, the dedicated practitioners first perform the incense ceremony before the Sanjin Shui, then parade around the city before returning to the temple, fully completing the ceremony. Amanda Stevens for RTI News.
Thank you for joining me for the news. I'm Tristan Hildebrand. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.